Just a car life tip, really. Um, I just thought about it, and I'm just there's people now that are losing their jobs at this Christmas time of year, and they may have to live in their car because they can't. They may already be in rent arrears or whatever with their landlords, and if any of my tips are living in, I live in a car because I was in the same situation, rent arrears. I had to move out. Um, and I only had what was I had, which was I was. You walk out the front door and you've got what you've got, which is I had a car. That's it. So I live in my car. But didn't have the money to actually buy pay for another month up front somewhere else. And so but I now just love living in my car. I just don't. Um, but the car tip is if you when you're keeping warm, because it could go. Well, it's been okay. It's been okay. It's been down to freezing. But it's been alright because you if you live in a car, you never have to buy an ice scraper for the windscreen, because you never let it get that cold. You've probably started your engine and kept the heater on before then, yeah. So even if it goes down to -3, -5, you never have to scrape your screen because you're in the car and you won't let it get that cold. You start the engine and put the heater on before it gets that cold, yeah. That's one tip, yeah. But another tip, yeah, car life tip, is that if you put a curtain, I don't, but if you put a curtain behind the back seats, behind the passenger and driver's seat, a warm thermal curtain, you've only got to heat up. When you put the heater on, you've only got to put the heater on for a minute or 2 minutes max. Because all you're heating up is the front seat, the front passenger seat, and the front driver's seat. Isn't it? So you're not heating up. You don't need to heat the back of the car up because there's no one in the back of the car, is there? And when you think like that, you think like van life, and that noise. That's my thermal insulator. It's called a newspaper from the cold floor. But I've run out of carrier bags. I've run out of Tesco carrier bags. Must get one today. Um, but yeah, when you think about it, if you put a thermal curtain behind the two front seats, passenger seat, driver seat, you're only heating up the front seat and the driver's seat. That's it. You're not heating up the rear seats or the boot, are you? So your fuel to heat will be even smaller. And when you think about that, if you've got a 4 meter Volkswagen Crafter or a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter or something that sort of size, or a Iveco which is even bigger, the big high roof of Iveco, it's probably a bit more room than the Sprinter or the VW. Well, it used to be by about 6 inches from that. Excuse me. You've got to heat all that up. Even if you've got a Chinese diesel heater, you've got to heat all of that space up just to keep yourself warm. And the whole idea of living in, you've only got to make it through the night. You've only got to make it. There's a song. I'm sure there's a song about it. You've only got to make it through the night from about 10 o'clock through to about 5 o'clock, and then get yourself a cup of coffee somewhere, which will keep you. It's like central heating coffee, isn't it? Um, and that's it. But the amount of money people are spending on van life, and like, oh, I must have loads and loads of solar. I must have an inverter, a solar charge controller. I must have. All you're trying to do is get from about 10 o'clock at night till 5 o'clock in the morning, as basic as it gets, and you'll get through the day. And then all the facilities, like all your toilets and your coffee shops and your fast food, it's all open. Most of it's open all night anyway. Some drive-throughs are open all night. Um, so, and when you get to a drive-through, you'll put the heater on as you drive to the drive-through, and then you'll have the heating on while you're eating your food in the car park of the drive-through, so you get warm, yeah. And then if it gets really really cold, go nocturnal effectively, and stay awake through the night with the heater on, and then usually it's quite sunny in the daytime, and then just pull up somewhere where it's nice and sunny and fall asleep in the sun, so you're sleeping in the warm instead of sleeping in the ice cold night and being awake during the sun. Just a couple of tips if you have to live car life because of either not through choice. A lot of people in the UK now will have a difficult, especially with the retail sector now, with shops crashing and people being made redundant, and companies actually downsizing, because I think we've got a recession within the next year or two. Just the way I see it, not I think it's because the world's going digital and it's still stuck in a paper society. Hasn't even done paperless yet. Now that was about 20, 30 years ago when they said they were going to go paperless. We're still about 20, 30 years down the road, and we haven't got nowhere near paperless. There's more paper being used now than ever before. So we've got to go digital. So that'll take about 40 years for the country to go, the UK to go digital. 40, 50 years. Facebook and Google are already digital at the moment. But I know it's waffling on a bit, but we're in changing times. You've only got to look at the high street. Some of the biggest players in the high street with the most shops are having to struggle and refinance. That's just how it is, how the retail sector is at the moment, which is going to affect other people. It's going to affect people's mortgages. It's going to affect it'll be repossessions and all sorts, and people just won't have the money unless you're buying digital assets. And then you've got those that buy digital assets will win long term because they're cheap now at the moment. Because no one recognises them. Like your Bitcoin, well, Bitcoin's gone up a bit, but like LibreCoin, which comes out in 2020, and domain names. But car life is going to be everywhere, and the best thing you can do is that if you've got a space, let someone use your drive, where they could park and use facilities, and they might just pay a bit, but it won't be anywhere near rent money. Just be a bit for a bit of water or something, or a bit of they might pay you £5 for an hour of 240 volt plug, just to do the bits that they can't do in a car. To fill up a few flasks or whatever, hot water. We're going down that route. It's alright, after these brand new cars on the road, no, most of them don't own them, it's all lease. They go back after 3 years. What happens if a recession happens within the 3-year car lease? Where you've got to pay your car lease. What are you going to do? You've either got to pay your car lease to keep your car so you can get to work, or you pay your mortgage, which keeps you, or you scrap your mortgage, keep your car lease and live in it. I don't know. We're in that sort of era. But the car tips, if they help you, all well and good. I just do it because it's a lifestyle I had to choose, and I currently enjoy living in a car. It looks stupid, but I'm saying my fuel costs. Okay, they're not, because I've got a petrol, and I wouldn't have a diesel. I drive diesel all day long at work. Diesel vans, but I wouldn't want a diesel van. I wouldn't want I wouldn't want to live in a diesel van. I like fuel. I like petrol. I live in a petrol car, but petrol fueled car. But so it's more expensive, Mike, because I have the heating on. It's fuel. Diesel's probably cheaper. But if you have a thermal curtain behind the 2 seats, you're only heating up the front 2 seats. And when you think of that sort of space, it's probably about, if I'm trying to work it out now, compared to a van, like a 4-metre van, which you see in like these Mercedes Sprinters and the Crafters. That is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's about a tenth of the space of it's about 1/8 or 1/10 of the space of a 4-metre crafter. Well, a tenth, because most crafters have got the front seats as well. Yeah, which is a bigger space. So I only have to heat up a tenth of the space of a VW crafter. That's why I live in a car. It's better, easier to park, easier to get through the drive-throughs. Um, I just think that it's living in a car is like going seeing a car on the motorway with two solar panels on the top. You don't see it in the UK, but you're going to, and it's like that at the moment. It looks weird, people living in cars, but it's going to be everywhere. Just like they're going to be on. People now are going to put 200-watt solar on the roof of a car with an inverter and solar charger in the boot, right? And they'll be able to power laptops and computers and all sorts of desktop computers from a car, right? That's all. So you can have everything available from a car, powered by about 200 or 300 watt solar on the roof. And companies will start doing that. Vans will have 500 watt of solar on a van roof, on a crafter roof, a standard VW and Mercedes. We're going that way, right? Tesla's almost like taking us that way. Um, but that's car life. People are adapting to their situation and living a more simplistic, minimalistic, enjoyable way of life, and I don't see that changing. You don't need a massive. This is it. When you think of like the space of like the front seat on the passenger seat, the driver's seat and the passenger seat of a car, the fuel cost or the heating cost of that, compared to a detached house, and you may just have just one person living in it. They'll want to have the house warm, so they'll have all the bedrooms on to get from like the living room to the bedrooms. The heating will be on all the rooms. But then you got the bills for that as well. The bills every month for the gas, the electric, the water bill. You've got either the mortgage payment or a big rent payment. Just think what you could do with that money if you wasn't paying it in rent or mortgage. Just like you only got to get through the night living in a car. In life, generally, all you've got to do is just get through life. It's not like, oh, I must have a massive big house bought and paid for at the end of it. Because there's nothing you can do with it anyway. You can't take it with you. So you've got to give it away. And people that go down that route are, it's okay, but then you need a bigger job, you need you need better education to be able to afford to buy the big house that you need. But sometimes health doesn't let you get there. How many people do you know? Everyone will know people that have either had to hand the house down that they bought, all that hard work they had to give it away, because they never made it to 65. So they never got to take money from out of the house that they put all the money in through hours and hours of hard work over the years. Thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of hard work hours to get the house in the first place. But if you can't get to 65, it's blooming pointless. That's as simple as it gets. Because you'll never be able to get to retire, to buy your camper van or whatever it is you want to do with life, to live it in good health. That's why people now, you only got to type that van life into YouTube, and there's thousands of van tours because people are living it, that lifestyle, at 20, 25, 30. Not wait until they're 60, 65, when their health may be not as good. They're living it in their prime at 20, 25, 30, becoming YouTube vloggers and loving the life. That's why everywhere you see now, you'll see Mercedes Sprinters and Volkswagen Crafters with like these little T5 Volkswagens, or the transporters, with a window in where the side door is. Years ago, you never saw that at all. It's just people living now a camper van lifestyle. But you need land. People are queuing up to buy land on eBay. There's about 140 watchers. It's only going to take. You see, it won't. If land on eBay has got a buy it now price, people are just going to say, well, I'm not going to. They haven't got the time to wait till the auction's finished, trying to get the cheapest price. There'll be people now that have sold a house and don't want a house. They just want a bit of land to put a camper van on for as and when, just to like almost like a docking station, just to either when they've come off the road for a bit, just to put it on a bit of their land that they own, on a bit of hard standing concrete or whatever. Yeah, and that's it. That's all they need. So they don't have to. And all they're going to do, they're not going to wait for. There's about 150 watchers on this bit, on this particular, on a bit of on an eBay listing for a bit of land. They're not even going to look into. Oh, is it look into the legals and whatever? Yeah, they'll just pay a lawyer, say get it done, sold, which jumps a queue, which annoys all the 140 odd watchers for the land. They probably just sold the house. They got a few quid. They bought a decent camper van, or bought a second-hand one and made it into a nice house camper van. And they're just going to put cash notes on the table, effectively, or the same, or the digital equivalent, which is buy it now, and buy it now. What you can do? Okay, you might pay a few quid more by buying it now, but land is going to become scarce. Land is the new invention. Because with all these people living campervan lifestyles, they need land to park their van on every single night of their life. And sometimes you just want to take a bit of time off, away from trying to find a parking space, and bring it on a bit of land that you own. It could even be like a plot of land next to it. It could be a terraced house that's been pulled down or whatever, yeah? That's got permission to buy, but they don't ever want to use that permission to build. Land building plot permission, just to plant a thing, drive it on there, switch your key off, and live off of it live in the van. And when they want to go camping or touring around the country or around Europe or whatever, yeah, they just pull off the land and go. That's the flexible lifestyle people are living. And there needs to be a support network in as much as like skilled tradespeople that are just prepared to give their skills and their time for nothing, just to help people live that lifestyle, like a mechanic that wants to just work for free. There's a plumber at the moment, this is famous in the papers, just works for free for the elderly. People are giving of their time and their skills for free to help people out, and it's just that is massive in America at the moment, in the States, and it's coming over this way. People are doing it because it makes sense. Because people have got, there's people now stuck in houses that they own, and they can't afford to pay the winter bills, the heating bills. There's people now living in van life in their house. They're not even using the top of the house, so there's no point heating the top of the house. Just have a little fire in the front room, have a bed in the front room, and live in the front room. So then you've only got to keep the front room warm, which means your bills are going to be next to nothing. You only want a bit of freestanding solar outside the front window, if you can keep it there, without you going walking. And you could live the campervan lifestyle in your front room of your house. And it's almost like trendy to do so. It's not like looking, oh, look at that person living in the front room. Yeah, but it's trendy to do so. It's the van life lifestyle, living in a house. Oh dear. Car life is like living in a bathroom. I don't know. But there you go, that's a bit of waffle, yeah. So car tip, yeah, put a bit of, if you live in a car, if you put a thermal curtain behind the headrest of the two front seats, you're only heating up half the car, which means you're heating up less, which means you're saving more fuel, which means you can live for even less than you currently do. How's that? And that's a 19-minute vlog of me waffling away about everything, everything, waffling. If you listen to it, I ain't got a clue why you do, but cheers, thanks. And there you go. People now will be able to make money from paying a person's car insurance for them and allowing them to pay as and when they can. That'll be big soon. Because if you live the flexible lifestyle, you won't always have work, and you don't really want the flexible payments. You don't want the fixed payments that you can only pay your car insurance on a certain day of the month. And if you don't pay on that particular day of the month your car insurance, they then say that, oh, you've failed 2 direct debits on your monthly payments. So anyone now that can pay £1,000 car insurance to a person, pay their car insurance for £1,000, and let them pay you back as and when. They may be able to pay £20 this week, £50 next, or however, but they'll pay you back during the course of the year. But they pay back on their terms as and when they get the money, not on a particular pay date every single month. Because if you live a flexible lifestyle, you won't always have money on that pay date, which creates stress or whatever, financial stress. But for anyone that can pay someone's car insurance, people will pay them back and probably pay a bit of interest as well, so that they can have that flexibility from not being able to have to pay on the pay date every year, every month, and they won't have the money to pay all in one, which is causing a problem at the moment. But those that can pay someone's car insurance just to pay it back when you can, they will probably earn, instead of paying £1,000 insurance for somebody's car insurance, they would actually the person paying back would probably pay them back 10%, £1,100 back. But they won't be able to pay it. They won't be able to guarantee it when they'll be paid. You just get payments in your bank come back. And people now, there's a massive need for someone to use their advertising dollars to pay people's debts, because people can't save anymore. They can't save, and if you live the flexible lifestyle, you're not earning enough to save. So you just pay people, but they might have debts of £300 or £400. If a person can pay £300 or £400 debt for somebody, and they just pay on £20, £50 here and there to get the money back, but not actually any guaranteed time. It just comes back, and it'll come back in your bank as it went out. But it's almost like the equivalent now to an alternative to payday loans, where people are just giving the money, and they get the money back, but they get it back in bits and bobs, not the money, because the people can't save and all that. And it goes back to, if there's jobs now being advertised for £8.50 an hour. If you can only pay £8.50 an hour, it's not a job. If a person can't buy a house on the hourly rate, and they can't on £8.50 an hour, anyone working now for the minimum wage in the UK, £8.50 an hour, will never be able to buy a house unless they're very, very good at saving money. If you can't save money, you'll never be able to live on £8.50 an hour, or not have the life that you deserve for working that hard for the £8.50 an hour. And that's just the way I see it. That's the way I see it now. Data's gone, so that's the video. But thanks for listening. As I say, I haven't got a clue why you listen, but if you listen, yeah, cheers, thank you. Adios. It must be about coffee time now, I think. I have to find a drive-through somewhere to have coffee.